Hello, esteemed graduate school colleagues. I did my research latest paper, looking into the issue of substance use disorders in young adulthood, and learned a number of fascinating things. First of all, young adults are the largest population of individuals with substance use disorders. And according to the DSM-5, the current thought is that the primary cause of substance use disorders is believed to be increased bodily or increased dependence in the brain and the rest of the body that results from prolonged usage. And so diagnosing substance use disorders is a little interesting because like with substances, alcohol, drugs, intoxicants, you can definitely test for their presence in somebody's physical body, but then deciding that it's a disorder becomes quite subjective. And right now the DSM has I think 12 different really subjective features, things that fall within biopsychosocial categories. And if an individual has just 2 of these 12, then they can be diagnosed with a substance use disorder. So physically increased tolerance and other health problems, such as hypertension and heart disease in general, and some other stuff, other health-related stuff, can be the biological symptoms, psychologically failed previous attempts to quit or decrease usage, increased rates of anxiety, depression, and or emotional irritability, either while using or while not using. And then socially, primary ones are failed obligations as a broad category within work, family, friends, and then destroyed or deeply impacted relationships. Currently, it's estimated that 14% of young adults in these United States have a substance use disorder or qualify to be diagnosed with a substance use disorder. A few other things. With treatment, there's a number of different styles and methodologies of treatment. These days, inpatient treatment has the highest rates of effectiveness. CBT also has high marks, especially in the short term, and as Dr. Ridgway always points out, CBT looks really good on paper, in part at least because it's really lends itself readily to being studied quantitatively. 12-step and self-help 12-step type programs actually have the lowest rates, which was kind of surprising to me. But in part because they're inherently difficult to study, on the one hand because of anonymity, and on the other hand, reasons for entering into a self-help group such as Alcoholics Anonymous or other 12-step groups varies widely. So, that's another factor too in there. Looking at different rates across subpopulations of the United States, Native American populations, or indigenous peoples, tend to have the highest rates of substance use disorders. As high as 25% of young adults in some Native American populations can be diagnosed with substance use disorders, which is incredibly high. A few areas within great state of New Mexico, there's public, private, and government funded and supported clinics and treatment programs across the state. One interesting thing is motivational interviewing was first designed as based on clinicians coming together with frustrations on what were like the traditional, more confrontational intervention styles to deal with what's rampant denial in substance use disorder sufferers, and not being all that effective. So motivational interviewing was actually initially designed to deal with that issue, to work with substance use disorder clients right here in the great state of New Mexico. It was first designed. So one organization you can look to for substance use disorder training as a clinician is the New Mexico Motivational Interviewing Training Center, or New Mexico Motivational Interviewing Training Center. Yeah, that's it. And then a federal program, federal department actually, is the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Department, which works in all 50 states and sets guidelines and standards and offers various different degrees of support for local organizations. That is all.